Good evening, everyone. Welcome to EmoNews. I'm Rick Francis, and this is the news package for August 26, 2025. In tonight's headlines, Caribbean Risk Conference unveils bold agenda to tackle climate, economic, social, and digital disruptions. Education Trust Fund contributed over 42,000 to students doing CSEC. Coconut vendors say that the market is not conducive for selling. 5 journalists among 20 killed in Israeli double strike on hospital. Once again, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Up in local news, the International Organization for Migration has wrapped up a key training in Roseau, focusing on how migration data can support Dominica's agriculture and food security. The two-day Essentials of Migration Data workshop took place at the Prevo Cinema on July 29th and 30th. It brought together government officials, private sector representatives, and civil society groups to improve the way migration data is collected, analyzed, and shared. The training is part of a larger project aimed at strengthening Dominica's agricultural sector through better migration governance. Facilitators guided participants on topics such as migration data sources, management, and analysis, with practical exercises tailored to Dominica's trends. Participants described the training as both eye-opening and timely, highlighting its importance for policy making and planning. Organizers say the skills gained will help ensure migration supports resilience and opportunity for Dominica's farmers, migrants, and communities.
With better understanding of migration data, Dominica can shape policies that place farmers, migrants, and rural communities at the heart of agricultural development, ensuring that movement of people becomes a pathway to resilience and opportunity, not just for Dominica, but for the region.
The Registrar of CXC has expressed gratitude to Dominica's Education Trust Fund for its continued support to students sitting the CSEC exams. This year, the Education Trust Fund contributed 50% of the registration fees for 162 candidates. Established in 1981, the fund provides assistance to students in need, covering costs such as books, transportation, and exam fees. It is supported through government contributions, donations, and fundraising activities like the annual Dollar Day. The CXC registrar also called on the private sector to follow suit and support the fund, ensuring more students have access to secondary education and examinations.
Let me publicly thank the Education Trust Fund staff for absorbing the cost of 50% of the CSEC registration fees for 162 candidates at all 14 secondary schools. And this sum totaled $42,860. I'm indeed grateful for your benevolent act every year. Without your financial support, our results would not be as interesting. I am appealing, therefore, to members of the private sector and the public at large to make a greater contribution towards the operations of the Education Trust Fund.
The Education Trust Fund continues to play a key role in making education more accessible for Dominica's youth. These comments were made at the official launch of CSEC results. Blossom Dominica and Fitness Beauty closed off their second major event for 2025, showcasing fashion with a purpose. The event marked the climax of a 7-week mini designer summer program dubbed Mom, See Me on the Runway. It formed part of the organization's Fashion with Purpose campaign. Young designers were taught about the environmental impact of the fashion industry and how they can make a difference by applying the 3 R's: reuse, recycle, and repurpose. Organizers say the initiative is their way of contributing to conservation and leaving a positive mark on society. Blossom Dominica and Finesse Beauty say they remain committed to nurturing creativity while promoting sustainability in fashion.
Today's Mom See Me on the Runway midi summer fashion designer event yesterday that took place on the Bayfront at 6:30 p.m. I must say that it truly was a memorable experience, not just for the organizers but for the parents to see their little ones on the runway, for the parents to know that this dress that was given to my daughter by an aunt, by a cousin, by a grandmother, that was too small, that was too short, that was too big, that was tarnished, was transformed into something runway ready. It was truly something to marvel about. And I must say that I'm really proud of our parents who showed up for class every Saturday. And I also want to applaud our dads who also showed some participation in getting the children ready for yesterday. It really was a remarkable event. This is volume 1. Get ready, prepare for volume 2. We will make the announcements when it's closer, but we want to let the general public know that skill sets are the order of the day. Please be reminded that even if your children are academically inclined, a skill is necessary. All right? So this is Mrs. Matthew signing out.
Dominican youth are stepping up in the fight against climate change with the launch of a major new initiative. This Friday, August 29th, the Caribbean Youth Environment Network will host Dominica's first ever local conference of youth on climate change, a full-day event in Roseau from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Young people from across the island will take part in interactive simulations, panel discussions, and workshops, all working toward a national youth statement that will be submitted to the Global Conference of Youth and used to shape discussions at upcoming UN climate talks. The Partnership Initiative for Sustainable Land Management is the title sponsor for the event and will lead a key workshop focused on sustainable agriculture and watershed management. Recognized under the United Nations Climate Change Framework, Dominica's conference joins over 100 youth-led events happening around the world, amplifying young voices in global climate negotiations. Walson Junior Packet of the Pierre Charles Secondary School excelled at this year's examinations, earning 9 grade 1s and 3 grade 2s. He admitted that completing the SBA was one of his biggest challenges, but with determination, he was able to succeed.
My name is Sam Wilson Junior Packet. I come from PHL Secondary School and I obtained 9 ones and 3 grade 2s in my CXC exams. I feel great about it. It was lots of hard work, many challenges, of course, to the SBAs, also pressure from my parents, teachers, my peers as well. But I got through it at the end and I feel very satisfied.
His parents shared their joy, saying they were always confident in his abilities.
I'm Lucille Packet and I'm his mother. I feel very proud of him. I'm not shocked. It was something I knew that would happen because he has been a very bright boy from preschool into primary school. But it was just pushing him and to keep on nurturing him.
My name is Walson Packet. Well, I say the Josiah Packet because he's a junior. I'm a proud dad of him. The achievements of him is exceptional. He was actually pushed because I worked at the Petra Secondary School, that's where I am, with him. So getting him through the motions and the expectations, setting them high for him, setting the bar with a good support system from the both of us as parents really helped guide him through this successful achievement at CSEC. So we look forward to greater things from him in the future.
Once again, congratulations to Walson Junior Packet on this outstanding achievement. And tension rose in Roseau last week after police moved in on coconut vendors. Several coconut vending stalls were dismantled by the police force. EmoNews spoke to one of the vendors who described the action as unfair, saying this is his only livelihood. They also stated that the market is not a viable option. He added that vendors should have been given notice or prepared mentally for this operation.
I'm Jesse Kimo Joseph.
How long have you been selling jellies in that spot?
Over 10 years, I've been selling coconut right there by the roadside.
Is that your main livelihood?
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So can you tell us what happened last week?
Well, while you were there, I was standing over on this side there, and it's like, them police just come and it's like, they tell her, oh, long we tell you to break down that thing by the road, and the man just start mashing up. But technically, in the market, they don't have no sale. It's like you have a lady from Casibus always bringing jelly to sell, and the jelly they're selling over there, she still had to come back here and sell it for me for her to try and get something for her not to feel like she wastes her time.
So you think this is the most ideal spot for you to sell your jelly?
Yeah. There's no spot better than this.
The government has announced changes to police deployment in the northern districts of Dominica. National Security Minister Rayburn Blackmore confirmed that officers from Montrachet and Kulibistri are being relocated to the Salisbury Police District. The move is intended to strengthen law enforcement services and create a more centralized police presence.
We have to continue to look at how do we do some redistricting, and that falls within the level of competence of whoever the minister is. And I think the time has come for us to rationalize our approach, and not rationalizing the service, but the approach to allow for better deployment and better efficiency. I can go back to the days of the Somerville report, where recommendations were made to maybe collapse some police stations, some districts, into other police districts. And we're currently looking at the community of Kulibistri and Montrachet to be collapsed into the police district of Salisbury, which will mean, therefore, the officers will be transferred to the village of Salisbury, which is a very busy community. And that has not been done without meeting the people and consulting with the people.
Acting Chief of Police Lincoln Corbett explained that the consolidation will increase staff in Salisbury, improving the force's ability to respond to security concerns and serve communities more effectively. Officials say the process has already begun as part of efforts to enhance public safety in the region.
The minister would have mentioned on the question of the closure of the Kulibistri police station. We know it's a sentimental thing for people, and it's not really an easy task, an easy one to not sell, but for them to understand. But however, we have the opinion that the pooling of the resources between the Kulibistri police station, which in effect has one man, and that of the Salisbury police station, will be able to, by so doing, we'll be able to better provide service to the members of the public. I say one man because there are two men stationed at the station, two men. However, because of the need for men to go off and a break, in effect, most of the time you have only one man at the station. But with the collaboration, or the collapsing of the two divisions, two areas, we'll have in effect 6 officers available to serve members of the public. So between Salisbury and Kulibistri, 6 officers. And the intention, therefore, is to increase the staff complement and to upgrade it to 6, as I said. That 1 sergeant, 2 corporals, and 3 constables.
And moving on to regional news. A major regional risk conference is set for September 3rd and 4th in Barbados and online, bringing together leaders from across the Caribbean and Central America. The second wider Caribbean Regional Risk Conference, hosted by the CDB, CCRIF, SPC, and CAF, will tackle key threats to sustainable development, from climate and economic risk to misinformation and AI. Over 40 experts and 2,000 participants are expected, with discussions focused on resilience, private sector growth, and climate finance. A special youth forum will also spotlight the voices of young Caribbean leaders. Registration is now open. And also in regional news, Austria has reaffirmed its commitment to the Caribbean as Ambassador Gabriel Mignon-Schertz presented her credentials to OECS Director General Dr. Didakas Jules in St. Lucia on August 18th. The ceremony underscored Austria's focus on clean energy, disaster management, and deeper diplomatic ties. Plans were also shared for a young diplomat seminar in Vienna and a new CARICOM office to boost regional cooperation. Austria and the OECS have enjoyed diplomatic relations since 2012, and this visit marks a renewed push for collaboration in areas like cyber policy, sustainable tourism, and the blue economy. And now moving on to Barbados. At the opening ceremony, CARICOM Secretary Dr. Barnett thanked the government and people of Barbados for hosting the festival, highlighting their commitment to regional integration and investment in arts and culture. She also welcomed artists from Africa and Latin America, noting the festival's role in strengthening Caribbean identity and promoting the creative industries. With the theme Caribbean Roots, Global Excellence, CARIFESTA 15 promises a showcase of talent, innovation, and cultural pride across the region. And now for international news. At least 20 people, including 5 journalists working for the international media, have been killed in an Israeli double strike on Nazar Hospital in Khan Yuni in southern Gaza, the territory's Hamas-run health ministry says. The attack targeted rescuers who had arrived after the first strike, highlighting the extreme dangers faced by medical teams and reporters in the ongoing conflict. Among the dead were journalists from Reuters, AP, Al Jazeera, and Middle East Eye. 4 health workers were also killed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the incident a tragic mishap and said a full investigation is underway. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and other international leaders have condemned the attack, calling for an impartial investigation and an immediate ceasefire. Since the war began in October 2023, nearly 200 journalists have died in Gaza, making it the deadliest conflict for media workers ever recorded. The strike comes amid ongoing heavy fighting between Israel and Hamas, with mounting civilian and journalist casualties. Also in international news, US President Donald Trump says he hopes to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un later this year, while also meeting with South Korea's new president at the White House. Trump welcomed South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung on Monday, expressing openness to further trade talks despite previous tensions over nuclear energy, military spending, and trade commitments. The two countries signed a $350 billion investment deal in July. Though details remain under discussion, North Korea has intensified its rhetoric, with Kim pledging to accelerate his nuclear program and overseeing recent air defense tests, while criticizing joint US-South Korea military exercises. The White House says Trump looks forward to engaging with Kim Jong-un at the appropriate time, as diplomacy in the region remains delicate. And that's all for international news. Stay tuned for the sports segment after this short message.
Let Instacash help you get the kids ready for school with the DNL Back to School Instacash promotion. For every Instacash ticket purchased, your ticket could say you've won cash,
oh, really?
You've won groceries, or you've won school supplies instantly. One lucky customer will win $5,000. Promotion runs from August 8th to the 11th of September 2025. Instacash tickets are available from all lottery agents island-wide. It's fast, it's easy, and you win instantly.
Instacash, let me play.
And welcome to the sports segment. Up first is cycling. Yes, cycling took the spotlight in Roseau this past weekend as the Dominica Cycling Association hosted a first-of-its-kind event for young riders. On Sunday, August 24, the DCA staged its inaugural Children's Bicycle Festival at the Bayfront. President Ronald Charles described the event as a resounding success, noting the excitement and participation from the youth.
So today what we had is the first ever secondary school / primary school kiddies cycling festival. It was the first of its kind. I think it was wonderful. The turnout was excellent. I think we had to call it short because of the weather. We wanted to, safety is always paramount when the Dominica Cycling Association organizes things. And of course, we want to take this opportunity to thank all those who made it possible. The sponsors, especially the Dominica Olympic Committee, of course, Church of St. Gabriel and Company Limited, HHV, with Church and Company. We want to thank, of course, Kyrie FM, ambulance service, the police, the volunteers, and all those who contributed to today's event. We will continue. The whole aim of this is to set up an academy and to have the young people or the young children being engaged in cycling. So we're going to try to get that going because that is part of our grassroots development program. So we're going, and the next one will be announced very soon. It was a great success, and we'll continue to do what we can do in our capacity.
In other cycling news, national cyclist Koath Baron is in training for the upcoming Caribbean Championships to be held in Belize this October. The association says it looks forward to growing the sport both at the grassroots and competitive levels. We'll bring you more updates as Koath continues his preparations. And in some cricket news, Dominica's young cricket talent, Isinio Fontaine, has achieved a major milestone. Fontaine has earned his first maroon badge with a call-up to the West Indies under-19 team. He will join the squad in Antigua for a developmental series against Sri Lanka, an important step in preparation for the 2026 ICC Under-19 Men's World Cup in Zimbabwe and Namibia. The cricket board congratulates Isinio on this achievement and wishes him every success as he represents the Caribbean. A proud moment for Dominica and Isinio stepping onto the international stage. And also in cricket news, Afghanistan will host Bangladesh for a 6-match white ball series in the UAE this October, following the Asia Cup. The T20 Is are set for October 2, 3, and 5 in Sharjah, while the ODIs will take place on October 8, 11, and 14 in Abu Dhabi. Both teams are in Group B of the Asia Cup and face each other on September 16. Originally scheduled as an all-format tour in 2024. The series was revised to just white ball matches due to weather and scheduling conflicts. Afghanistan and Bangladesh have a closely contested rivalry, and with both sides winning 2 ODI series each and T20 international encounters also evenly matched. Cricket fans can expect exciting action as these two teams renew their rivalry in the UAE. Also in cricket, the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons closed their home leg on a high, defeating the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots to stay atop of the CPL 2025. Shakib Al Hassan starred with 3 for 11 in the 2 overs, marking his 500th T20 wicket, while Karima Gore's unbeaten 52 guided the Falcons to a 7-wicket win. The Patriots, who have won just 2 of 6 games, struggled to build momentum and finished at 133 for 9. In reply, the Falcons chased comfortably, with Joel Andrew supporting Gore's innings. Despite a few near misses, the Falcons wrapped up the target in 19 for 4 overs. With this win, the Falcons remain strong contenders as CPL 2025 heads into the next phase. And that's all for sports this evening. Stay tuned for the weather report from the Dominica Meteorological Service.
Hello, good day, and welcome to weather broadcast for today, Tuesday, August 26. I am your presenter, Annie Corretto Joseph.
Let's begin with the surface analysis, and there is a tropical wave just to the east of the Lesser Antilles, and this wave is expected to move across the area tomorrow, Wednesday. Let's take a look at the satellite imagery with this, and not much clouds can be observed at this moment with this wave as it continues to move towards the Lesser Antilles. Today, across the Lesser Antilles, the Atlantic high pressure system was a dominant feature, and we can see quite a bit of shallow cloud patches which moved across the Lesser Antilles today. Let's zoom in on Dominica, and we can see the shallow clouds moving in from the east over the island, and this maintained partly cloudy to cloudy skies throughout the day. Radar imagery indicated some scattered showers over Dominica throughout the course of the period. Some slight to moderate concentrations of dust haze were observed over Dominica today. However, as we move into tonight, we are set to see a reduction in this concentration, and it's expected to remain low throughout the remainder of the week before this plume out in the Atlantic approaches us over the weekend. Let's look at conditions for tonight. Partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Temperatures to be down to about 24 to 25 degrees Celsius along the coast and about 23 in the interior. Again, tomorrow as the wave approaches, you expect to see some increase in cloud cover. Partly cloudy skies with some scattered showers, and there's a possibility for some isolated thunderstorms. Marine conditions, slight to moderate seas with wave picking up to 7 feet on the east coast and about 3 feet on the west. Our high tides tomorrow will be at 6:49 a.m. and 6:50 p.m., while the low tides will be at 12:49 a.m. and 12:48 p.m. Let's take a look at conditions for the next 3 days. Partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Some possible thunderstorm activity expected tomorrow as the wave moves across the region. Our temperatures to peak near 33 degrees Celsius throughout the days and down to about 24 degrees Celsius during the nights. Winds to peak near 20 kilometers per hour. For the next 3 days, on Wednesday and Thursday, winds generally out of the southeast. And on Friday, we have a shift from the northeast. Marine conditions again tomorrow, picking to near 7 feet on the east coast. On Thursday and Friday, a further reduction in swells to about 5 feet. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:52 a.m. and set at 6:21 p.m. For up-to-date information, you can follow our WhatsApp channel, scan this QR code, or you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dominica Met, or our website at weather.gov.dn. Thank you for viewing, and join us tomorrow for your next weather broadcast. Good day.
And that's all for tonight's news segment. I'm Rick Francis, and you're watching EmoNews, every moment online. Have a good evening.